Today, I have a very special guest, Joe Small. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good yourself?
Great to have you. Joe is a financial wealth manager. I asked Joe to join me because he's been very successful in his business. And I wanted to ask him to share his perspectives and how we lead in these times of chaos. So, Joe, how are you doing? How's everything going?
So far, so good.
Great. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
But I started in the financial services industry straight out of college in Dutchess County, New York. Um, my parents were perfect examples of what not to do with money. And so as a result, as I think most successful self-starter type people, we had a lot of good examples of kind of, don't do this. Parents teach you things I think that you'd like them to teach you, and then they think they teach you other things that you learn. Hey, I just don't want to repeat that. So
Right.
started in the career in 1992 with a company by the name of Northwestern Mutual. And quite frankly, I got off to a horrible start. I failed company minimums. I was very rebellious and wanted to do things my way. And then finally, when I would just shut up and listen to people who were teaching me and who had a lot to offer and a lot more experience, it was amazing. It was like a veil just kind of lifted, and all of the sudden, things that they had said was going to happen would actually started to happen. And so I learned very quickly in life, I don't know it all. There's lots of people out there that can, who are more than willing to share with you some of their skill set, their expertise, if you're just smart enough to just listen.
To ask them, yeah, to listen. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I love it. And now you are very successful. You're number three, as I understand it, out of 7,800
Yeah,
offices. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah. There's about 7,800 representatives in the Northwestern system, and we've grown organically for the last 28 years. We've attracted other associates. The financial services industry is moving in incredibly lightning speed ways. The knowledge that you have to have, the expertise that you have to have, the infrastructure that you have to build, especially in our system, which is really much more like a franchise, because there's no, things that are provided for you other than the systems, if you're willing and understand.
Mhm.
And just recently, we made an acquisition, and based on my calculation, it puts us third in the country. But
Wow.
I'm hoping by the end of the year, we'll actually crack that #1 spot.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, congratulations for your success. So tell me, I want to get to how we help people lead in chaos, but more importantly, I want to tell you how you got there, how you got here. How did you go from failing all those years ago to success, what you have now, and you're moving actually above that and beyond that? How did you get here?
And so what had worked for me in many other ways, which was, again, being the guy who could figure things out in ways that other people couldn't, was actually hurting me in many ways. And so when I finally succumbed to the idea, well, I've tried it long enough my way, and I'm not getting the results that I'd like to get, I then went to the people who I saw who were successful. And I just kind of begged them to say, can you tell me a little bit about your story? Can you tell me a little bit about how you do this? Can you tell me a little bit about what they tell me is, what you would say is like would work, and what doesn't work? And then they also were very clear to say, and this is what worked for them, but that I should talk with a lot of other people,
Mm,
because when you talk to a lot of other people, you can kind of begin to make systems and processes your own, because again, the same system and process never works for the same person. So I think what got me from literally failing out of the business
mm,
to being super successful is having, not, although maybe some of the people around me might laugh, kind of trying to tamp down ego, trying
mm.
to tamp down the idea that you're the smartest uh, person in the room. Because even if you are, but you listen, you're going to learn more. You'll know more than what you knew before, right?
Absolutely. No, I love that. So
It's
how are you, so these are troubling times for a lot of us, Joe, and how are your teams, how are those rock stars handling it? How are you leading, how are they leading in these times of chaos that we are living in today? And just in the last month, I mean, gosh,
yeah.
how are people managing this uncertainty?
And so through the use of some additional technology, We get together every Monday morning at 8:30 for our review, kind of what went well during the week, what needs to be changed, what resources and things like that that they need. But they've told me, and again, I can kind of see it, with the laptops at home, they start a little earlier, they stay a little later.
Yeah.
There's no driving time. So I'm finding that people are actually being more productive, and I was resistant to that. So again, learning that the dynamic of what your business needs to look like and where those resources are coming from.
Mm.
I mean, I can tell you as a result, half their time when this removes, when this gets lifted, when we kind of walk through the valley of death here and we
Yeah.
come out the other end,
Yeah.
they're spending 2 and 3 days a week from home going forward, and they are just like so happy with that idea
Yeah.
of it. And on a business side, now I need less space
Yeah.
from a management side, but they tend to be more proactive. They tend to be more visionary. So much goes with the people that you hire.
Yes.
And even though it hurts, like again, like when the people who I'm a little more intimate that know what my payroll is, they're like, oh my God. And the answer is, but I get so many compliments from people.
Yes.
And people come back and say, I can't tell you how pleasant it was to deal with this person, or how proactive, or how
Yes.
they brought other things to their attention. And that's really what solidifies the relationship. Because no matter what we do, we're in a service business. If you don't service your clientele well,
Right.
and are even, again, visionary in what you might think they need, they're going to find another home
Right.
to it. But that's
So,
on the one side, the
yeah.
business side.
Yes.
On the client side, which again are a separate set of clients, right? We've got the two sides of this.
Mhm.
It's making sure that you're having just constant communication, but not, a blast email is not communicating,
Right.
right? I mean, it's like getting on the phone. I do about 50, 60 calls a day.
Wow.
In my voice, you may hear it now. I'm starting to kind of get a little hoarse at it, because after about call 48, my voice gives out. And I've got 15 people on this team that literally we are turning calls every day. We are reaching out.
That's great. No, that's wonderful. So, Joe, give us an example of how you are managing this crisis and this time and self-leadership. What are you doing that is helping you manage your own self and as you self-leadership as you go
Yeah.
through this chaos?
I think the idea of being the lone cowboy idea, every piece of equipment, every human, everything, right, has an optimal operating range. And then you can kind of go beyond that optimal operating range for a little while. But if you stay there too long, or you go beyond that operating range, things will fail,
Yeah.
right? So I used to like get a little sad about Friday, because again, I really enjoy and love what I do. But now I kind of look forward to Friday, because again, I just need to rest and to give
Yes.
my voice some time. The other thing is that for me, it's been pretty invaluable, is that I have a couple of small other business owners, some that are in the business that I am, and others that are not. And I just check in with them, and they kind of check in with me. And sometimes I can obsess about something that maybe they kind of look at me and they just say, really? Is that tough?
Right. So that's wonderful. I love it, Joe. Thank you so much. So can you leave us, Joe, with one tip or one piece of advice?
I guess what I would say is that if you have a little bit of fear about things, that's probably as normal as you can be. And when people tell you, don't worry about it, I kind of think that that's a little bit dismissive
Yeah.
in ways, because the reason why you're feeling that discomfort is because there's a stimulus that's in front of you that is not a good stimulus, as you've interpreted from your body and your mind. And it's getting you to think, right? It's getting you to kind of formulate and put a plan together.
It's been really wonderful. I will share is it okay if I share your contact information, everything, to
Sure.
share people to see if they want to get a hold of you and talk to you about strategies and perspectives?
Yeah, absolutely. More than happy. And again, if anybody out there thinks that they can help a 28-year in the business financial services guy, I'm more than willing to learn.
This is Bob Miglani with love and respect for all that you do. Have a great day. Thank you, Joe. Take care.
Yeah, yeah, bye.